the market at all. Today, you'll see that we just had a rocket ship up. Well, what caused that rocket? Now, if you go back to my last video from yesterday, you'll see that I saw a bounce was coming. We had our wave trend here. What not scared me off from playing it, but why we didn't play this bounce was simply because Fed days are just too high risk to play swing trades. So if you day traded it, congratulations. I did put out a post this morning in the Discord. Here, I'll pull it up here. I mean, if you're going to trade the charts, which is the bounce, but again, be very careful. Keep losses and profits tight. When the chart flips to sell, I'll update then. Until then, play the bounce or take the day off. So if you traded the bounce, congratulations. If you took the day off, don't feel too bad. You decide that for a reason, right? You didn't want to. You didn't want to take the risk. So there's nothing to be ashamed with, obviously you'll feel that FOMO, but I think it's important to understand why you made that decision in the first place, right? It was to take a risk management, right? So I did want to talk for a second about Powell's comments. So the reason we skyrocketed was due to Powell's comments about how he thought the next move that the Fed made would be a rate cut, right? Or would not be a rate hike. I can't remember which one it was. Either way, it has the same effect. So, first of all, I just want to say, no shit. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like we all pretty much knew that. I think this reaction is a little bit emotional, and I think people are probably reading too much into it because he didn't say when that cut was going to come. He didn't say it was going to be next meeting or the meeting after or the meeting after or the meeting after or the meeting after that, So, there could still be zero rate cuts this year, I mean, that's important to understand, to take his message for what it was and not for what people think it is, right? So really nothing much has changed as far as that goes, in terms of whether or not we're going to see any rate cuts. They're really just throwing the ball back and forth here. They're biding their time, which I guess in a way is smart to kind of see, because there's a lot of conflicting data, right? So that's all I wanted to talk about. I mean, SPY did rip up to, what did it go up to, like 408. It's coming back down a little bit now. I maybe he made a comment. I don't know, but regardless, I think it's important and I think people will digest those comments. I think that's kind of an emotional reaction there. That being said, our charts had it set up perfectly, right? Here's, if you go back to my video, I said, look for this cross and play the bounce, right? If you're going to play it all, you play the bounce until that sell signal comes back and changes, which we're nowhere close to that right now. So regardless of all this, right? Because what I'm talking about here with rate cuts and the Fed, this is all kind of longer term kind of a longer term outlook. What we're looking at right now is extremely short term. This price action, we got this candle right here. It's an hour candle, okay? So yes, is it a big jump? Yeah, I mean, S&P is up 1% for the day, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But or it was at least a 1% move, I guess I could say that. But the reality is, it's important to take that move with a grain of salt. Okay. So that being said, all right. Whether you played the bounce or not, where are we at right now? So right now we're still in the midst of this bounce. Okay. So is it too late to get into calls as far as swing calls? Listen, it's definitely not the best entry. Your entry should have been this morning if you were going to play. So I would be a little bit hesitant to jump in now in terms of a swing trade. But I could still see a overnight swing play as a kind of a gamble type play. But that's not where you want to enter. Again, you had the signal here, you had the signal here, you had the signal here. So if you were going to play this play, then you entered this morning. Now, so where do we go next? As you can see, the RSI is, we're still in the midst of this move. Is the gist of it. So we'll see where we go with the wave trend. We'll see. RSI was rocketing up for a minute, but it's still not that extreme. So we could still push a little bit higher, maybe back up to that 510, 511 area over the next, maybe through the end of the week, something like that. So again, we'll have to see how the market digests all this. Obviously, the initial reaction was an emotional, bullish reaction to those Powell comments. Now, will people have a rational, come to a rational frame of mind and then think, oh, well, Powell really didn't say we're getting rate cuts next meeting. He just said the next move will probably be a rate cut at some point. Doesn't even have to be this year. You know what I mean? He just said the next move is going to be a cut, So I think people are overreacting initially on this move, but that being said, the trend is your friend, right? So, if the market's going in that direction, you want to day trade it, jump on and trade it. But use your entries like I teach you guys. Use the 5-minute chart. Wait for, So here we're obviously oversold. Wait till it sells off a bit, and then wait till you get a bullish. Back to a bullish entry here, maybe Q trend buy signal, and that's where I would look to enter. But don't just blindly enter calls here. You could see that probably ended if you bought at 508. You're kicking yourself in the dick, right? Or the butt, whatever it is, whatever you have, you're kicking yourself with. Anyways. I'm going to keep this video short. I think Powell's probably wrapping it up here pretty soon. So we'll see. We'll see where the chips fall. But yeah. So that's where we're at. We're nowhere close to a short. So again, if you're looking to play this, I would still say play it to the bullish side until we reach that, back to that short side. So, and that's exactly what I said in my post to my members, and that's exactly what you should trade if you're trading at all. So, anyways, that's all I got. Again, if you like the content, like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Thanks for watching, guys.